Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Ali Allah madad farma. So today we have gathered here. I have been receiving some questions and I had gathered some related question, as well as we will also talk about Zikr of healing. So the very commonly questions in very many different words is asked by very many friends, and that is, how do I know where do I stand? Forgive my typo error. How do I know where do I stand? And that question I have converted to, what is the difference between a worldly and a true religious moment or momina? The difference between a worldly person and a moment is not physical. It is not outside, it is internal, it is within. Nobody can see it. But that moment or momina, Arif or Arifa can feel it within themselves. And how do they know that? Because they have this soul of faith. Those who are moments walking on the path of true knowledge, seeking knowledge, they have this soul which is called soul of faith, Ruhul Iman. And this Ruhul Iman actually helps this Mu'min Salik to realize what are the inner diseases they are suffering from. Normally, no one knows, no one goes to the doctor if there is no symptoms. But what happens? If we are sick, then we run to the doctor to get medications, treatment. But in spirituality, it is very difficult to see the diseases we suffer from. It is all actually inside. Nobody can see it. Socially, outside, a person can be very nice, very polite, very genuine, but nobody sees the inside of that person. With this Ruhul Iman, what happens that this moment starts realizing the inner diseases one has. And then that moment is always in search of real health, true health, hakiki sehat. The real health in reality is actually in paradise. In this physical world, to get to real health is very difficult. In reality, it is in paradise. In paradise, one can go only to paradise if they were to have healthy intellect and soul, qalb salim. If they don't have healthy soul and intellect, it is hard to enter into paradise, because the entry criteria for paradise that a Momin is Salik can enter. A Momin is the one who is always improving his intellect, progressing in his spirituality. So a Momin who has a healthy intellect and soul can only enter to paradise. And paradise is the place where one can get true health. That Momin Salik starts realizing the inner diseases. How? In the light of faith and knowledge. So all those friends who've been attending true knowledge classes, doing Zikr Ibadat, they are becoming more cautious and conscious of their own deeds, payment of their dues, religious dues, saying of their dua. All those characteristics which do come into good deeds We all are aware of those. If we are doing those, we are meeting those conditions, health is acquired in step by step. This health is also achieved step by step. And it is in the light of faith and knowledge. What changes? Doubts starts to go away. There is no darkness. Doubts originates from darkness and lack of knowledge. So when there is knowledge, when there is certainty, the doubt and the darkness goes away. There is inner happiness which is being experienced. Progress of spirit and spirituality happens. Abundance in inner spiritual health. And then there is a huge realization that there is a delay in me in attaining hidden divine treasure. So when one starts realizing that, that is the truly elevated step, that there is this desire to get the divine treasure, Ganje Makfi. When Prophet was asked, why did Allah created this world? It is only for one reason. Allah wanted to be found, to be recognized, because He is the hidden treasure. So summary, Mu'min is the one who is progressing on the path, is the one who confesses that he or she has been disobedient. And the knowledge of disobedience comes through true knowledge, because we all think of ourselves as very good people. But when we go into knowledge, then we realize, oh, what we are not been doing. We've been lacking in so many areas. We need to learn so much. We need to grow so much. And then there is repentance by a faithful servant. And that leads to recourse to a remedy. The healing starts. And the zikr for healing is given in Quran, chapter 26, verse 80. Chapter 26, verse 80. And it says, وَإِذَا مَرِضْتُ فَهُوَ يَشْفِينِ. And when I am ill, it is He who heals me. It is He who heals me. So there can be physical illness. If there is no physical illness, there is awareness of the spiritual illnesses we have. All over health, for all over health, a Mu'min Salik does this zikr. وَإِذَا مَرِضْتُ فَهُوَ يَشْفِينِ. وَإِذَا مَرِضْتُ فَهُوَ يَشْفِينِ. And when I am ill, it is He who cures me. Now this is I've taken from Book of Healing. And remember, the book of Healing was written on the request of Government of Pakistan. So it does not mention the word Imam, but it mentions the word Murshid. For Sufi people, Murshid is equivalent to their teacher. So a Mu'min, a human who has animal soul, and that animal soul is actually gives this instinctual satisfaction, this desire to be always wanting instant gratification, just like animal. And we call that nafse amara, carnal soul. Most humans are within this stage, carnal soul, living, being slave of carnal soul. But what happens when true knowledge is there, then this blaming soul, which is also called conscious soul, the other name is soul of Imam. This Mu'min Salik develops this awareness. Why? Because this Mu'min Salik is now having the Ruhul Iman. And that Ruhul Iman keeps on making him or her aware that this is not the right path. You do not need to do this. This is wrong. So Mu'min Salik is struggling between these two, Nafse Amara and Nafse Lavama. But when we continue to walk and work hard with mercy of Imam, a Mu'min Salik can continue to walk further. And then all these are stages. And those are satisfied soul, sound heart. The heart has no impurity in it. It is sound, it is pure, and that's where Imam comes and sits, because The heart of a Mu'min is the throne of Imam. And surely when that happens, there is merging with the Murshid. And for us, the Murshid, the teacher, is the Imam of the time. And surely there is then merging with the Nafiq. And then the merging with Allah. All the Hudud Deen levels, universal soul, universal intellect, Natik, Asas, all these ranks are encompassed within the Imam. So for us, it's very simple. We say we want to be Pana fil Imam. And that's our destination. But we all are trying to move up on that ladder. It is the Ruhul Iman, development of Ruhul Iman, that tells us where we are standing. For a Mu'min and Salik, it is a good habit to be not talking about themselves. However, when it is individual discussion, personal discussion, it is okay to ask questions. But it is very important to stay humble and continue to walk on this path to climb the ladders up. And remember, Shaitan is never sitting free. Those who are trying to walk up the ladder, Shaitan is behind them. So being conscious and doing the zikr helps on staying on the path. Then we also talked about Surah Shifa on Sunday. Surah Shifa is Surah Fatiha, which we say in our dua. One of the name of this chapter in Quran, Al-Fatiha, is Shifa. It is the chapter of healing. And we all are seeking healing from these spiritual diseases. And this chapter has so many names. I've only mentioned here 7. The opening chapter, Al-Fatiha, the mother of Quran, Quran, the mother of books, Kitab, 7 repeated verses, Sabul Masani. This chapter was revealed to Prophet Muhammad 7 times due to its importance. The praise, Alhamd, the cure, Ash-Shifa, the magnificent Quran. In fact, this verse is also known as Al-Quran Al-Azim. And there is a saying by Prophet Muhammad, if someone says this surah 3 times, it is as if they have read the whole Quran. Surely with the understanding of its meaning, realizing the importance of this chapter, if one reads it with true, complete understanding of this surah, reading this chapter is like reading the whole Quran. And how amazing it is that being smiley, we say this surah 3 times a day in our 3 dua. So Mawla is so merciful. He has done everything possible for us to be healing. But when we don't pay attention and learn the true meaning of it, then we are away from healing. But Alhamdulillah, all of us who are here, we are on the path of learning and healing. So this is one of the healing surah in Quran. And it is said that when we are aware of not being well at any level, physical, spiritual, and intellectual, setting an intention on this surah, say 40 times, can bring healing at all levels. So we did 2 healing zikr. One is Surah Shifa, another is وَإِذَا مَرِضْتُ فَهُوَ يَشْفِينِ. These 2 are healing zikr. And then I wanted to refer to Farman. So based on questions from friends, I had picked up this Farman. This Farman is from Munjawri, November 3rd, 1903. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And I'm going to paraphrase this Farman. It is in Urdu. Let me read it in Urdu. जो मोमिन ये दुनिया छोड़ जाता है उसके लिए दुनिया तंग जगह है. मोमिन इस तंग जगह को छोड़कर बड़ी कुशादा जगह में जाना चाहता है. इस खराब जगह से निकलकर उससे अच्छी जगह पर जाना है. अब आप इस दुनिया में हैं तो आप ऐसे आमाल ना करें कि जब आप ये दुनिया छोड़कर जाएं तो इससे ज्यादा तंग जगह में जाएं. ऐसी जगह पर पहुंचने की कोशिश करें जो बड़ी कुशादा हो. आप अर्श अजीम पर पहुंचे. अर्श अजीम पर वो पहुंच सकते हैं जो पाक होते हैं। इसलिए अपना दिल पाक करें। अगर आपका दिल पाक होगा तो दुनिया ही में आप अर्श अजीम देख सकेंगे, वो कहीं दूर नहीं है। So moment who leaves this world for that moment is a very congested place, very narrow kind of place. A moment wants to go to a place which is very spacious, very comfortable. So it is moment leaves from a place which is narrow, which is not comfortable, to the place which is very spacious, very comfortable. When you are in this world, do not be doing bad deeds. If you were to do that, when you leave this world, again you will go into narrow place, small place. Therefore, you got to work hard to go to this spacious place. And then very strangely, Mola says that you can go to supreme throne. You want to go to supreme throne. Remember, we have talked about throne in great detail. Supreme throne, only those can reach to supreme throne who are pure. Therefore, purify your heart. If your heart is pure, then you being in this world can reach to supreme throne that is not far from you. Very strange if you were to really look into it. Mawla first says this world is a very narrow place, not comfortable place. You need to be intending, making it an objective to go to a place which is very spacious, very comfortable. But then he says, if you purify your heart, during your lifetime, you can get to the supreme throne. Remember, we had talked about throne. Throne has been mentioned 22 times in Quran, and there is only 2 times supreme throne is mentioned. All other 20 times it is throne. So within throne are also ranks, levels. And here Mawla is inviting us to go to supreme throne, not after dying, while living in this world. So now we all have learned this hadith, right? Mutu kablan tamutu. Die while living. It is only by purifying our heart one can reach to the highest possible stage during the lifetime. And then in another farman, Mawla says, there are 2 types of moment in this world. One type is those who are badan ke moment. They are moment from body, physical moment. And then there are other types of moment who are moment with their soul. So what does that mean? Badan ke moment or ruh ke moment? Badan ke moment means that they are those who are physically only following the kiryas, doing the things. Physically, if you were to see, they are doing everything. But their inside probably is dark or not there where they are supposed to be. We cannot judge anybody. Mawla knows everybody's insides and outside. But there are moments, meaning they are Jamaati members, but they are only moments at physical level. Remember, physical is very narrow. It is not comfortable. It is not going to take us to this spacious place. It is those who are ruh ke moment. Those are the ones who are going to reach at the higher status. So what Mawla says, बदन के जो मोमिन हैं वो यहाँ ही खुश होते हैं, इस दुनिया ही में रहने से खुश हैं. They are happy in this world. Their desires are fulfilled. They are very joyous. वो आखिर जमीन में जाते हैं. ये बड़ाई के मोमिन हैं, इनकी जगह जमीन ही में होती है. They are probably arrogant too. They have everything they want in this world, and they will go into earth only. Like they will not elevate themselves. Then Mawla says, दूसरे जो रूह के मोमिन हैं वो ऐसे होते हैं कि दीन के काम में आगे ही आगे कदम बढ़ाते हैं. So here is your answer. If you are walking on this path and you think you want to evaluate yourself that are you walking further or not, assess yourself. Are you attempting to walk further in the learning? दीन के रास्ते में आगे ही आगे बढ़ते हैं. And then Mawla says, वो रुकते नहीं हैं. They don't stop. So, even if you were to walk into true knowledge journey, there are levels. so many levels. And let's say in one of the levels I say to you, so this is an exit point. If you like, you can exit. Or if you like, you can continue to go further. But surely the way if a child is in first grade versus a child is in a fifth grade, a child who's in 10th grade, and then a child who's in university. Because that child is no more a child, he's an adult. University level, meaning that he or she knows what are the objectives. What do I need to do to achieve my goals? Nobody has to tell me, dictate it to me. I'm accountable for my actions. So do you see the difference? We all are adults here. And what does Maula says? वो ऐसे मोमिन होते हैं जो आगे ही आगे कदम बढ़ाते हैं. That's one criteria. They keep moving forward. Second, वो रुकते नहीं हैं. वो मोमिन मुसलसल आगे ही बढ़ते रहते हैं. Not only that they do not stop, but they continue to walk further and further on this journey. Remember, this journey is long. So they continue to walk further. They do not stop. ऐसे लोग बेहिश से भी ऊपर जाएंगे. So these are the mu'mineen who are going to go above the paradise. That means there is something above the paradise, if Imam is saying. We all thought paradise is the destination. But no, Imam says there is a level above the paradise. How strange is that? And we all believe Imam is our paradise and we all need to merge with Imam. But then Imam himself says that there is a level above paradise. Surely one who walks in the true knowledge journey, remember ilmu ibadat, zikru ibadat, ilmu amal, with Girya Azari will help us identify what are further levels above the paradise. We don't know. We need to learn. So if you are attending these sessions and you want to evaluate yourself, I have given you enough criteria from Imam's Farman to check yourself and to see where do you stand, and you will get your answer. And then the next Farman. This is very important because I do get friends, requests for prayers because they are going through difficulties. Life is not easy. COVID time is not easy. There are difficulties. So let's see what Maula has said about difficulties. इंसान पर जो तकलीफ आती है, इंसान पर जो तकलीफ आती है वो मोमिन को सुख की तरह लगती है. This is another criteria. When the difficulties come to a human, those difficulties for a momin is like a comfort, pleasure, contentment, joy, no complaints. इंसान पर बीमारी, कोड़पन वगैरह की तकलीफ आती है, लेकिन मोमिन इसका ख्याल नहीं करता. Physical diseases like leprosy. Leprosy is such a difficult disease. I don't want to say harsh words, but it is something that everyone wants to be away from you. Nobody can be coming near to you because of this disease. It's very intolerable, right? Even if that kind of disease do come to a momin does not pay attention to it. Why? Because it is the internal world which is connected to Maula. मोमिन को अगर कोड़ की तकलीफ हो जाए तो भी इसका दिल नूरानी समंदर के पानी की तरह सफेद होता है. So momin has such a great difficult situation, great diseases, but momin is never unhappy. Why? Because it's internal. His heart is like luminous ocean, and that water in this ocean is all white. It is all nurani. इस पर ख़ास कितनी ही तकालीफ आए तो भी वो उनको दिल पर नहीं लाता. दिल पाक रखने से निजात मिलती है. So whatever difficulties a momin is facing, he or she does not keep it on her heart. It's life, it's okay. And that momin keeps the heart clean, and that purity of the heart will take that momin to salvation, to merging. So I hope that I have given you enough food for thought, criteria to assess yourself, to see where you are standing. It is very difficult when it has become very it becomes very individualized. Tell me how I am doing right now. I do this, I do that, I do this. It is not a very good question, I would say. What we can do as learners, we can take the criteria from Quran, Ginan, Farmans and compare ourselves. Sufis have this practice. They would write down all the characteristics which are good, and they would continue to evaluate themselves on that checklist. So every individual, like remember we had talked about a moment checks pulse. And when you're going through knowledge, when you're listening to basic lectures of Amal ki Pakizgi, purification of the deeds, when you're listening, you're able to identify what are the diseases one is suffering from. So number one, we should be healing, not be sick spiritually, because it's a spiritual studies. So I'm talking about spiritual diseases, but surely it helps in physical diseases too. So whatever spiritual illnesses we have, we need to first work on that. And remember, to be able to conquer these diseases, there are few criteria. Talk less, eat less, sleep less. What do you do then? What do you do more? Zikr more, Giryazari more, studies more, learning more. Being conscious of your own actions more. All that is more. So that's the tool to be able to conquer these diseases which we have. And then work on that checklist and continue to compare or evaluate yourself after a month, 2 months, whatever timeline you set. It is very easy. It is very easy way to do, to set an intention for 40 days that I will do this zikr, let's say Surah Fatiha, every day 40 times. We can do that intention as a group. And after 40 days, so on the first day, we evaluate ourselves, what diseases we have. And then after 40 days, we re-evaluate ourselves. And this can be done individually. It can be done in the group. But the emphasis is that we should be able to see the difference in ourselves. And all this time when we are on the path of the true knowledge, we are not quitting. We are going further and further. We are taking the fullest advantage of these classes, and we go back and do pre-reading, post-reading, listening, re-listening, making notes, and taking the advantage. There is a concept of riyazat. Riyazat meaning practice, hard work. And we do know, we have been all through secular education system. And children who do come as ahead of the whole class in their grades, they surely have some characteristics which are different from majority of the students, meaning that they do work hard, they do study. So those friends here who are really, really serious, when they put their work into it, they do riyazat. There's a idiom, jitna gur dalo utna meetha hoga. If you were to work hard and do the riyazat, you will not have to ask anybody. People will come and tell you, you have changed. There is something different about you. And you'll smile and you'll say, oh, I know, shukr alhamdulillah, that you are able to see it. Because you have changed, your ways of doing things have changed. So I'm hopeful that I have answered your question, and it would bring some peace to your heart that by attending these classes, by doing this zikr and giryazari, by being very true to your dua, your ibadat time, zikr in abundance, attending these classes, you are already on the path of going higher. So be happy about it with this desire to continue to go further higher. I'll stop here if anyone has any question.
Yali Madad NIAMAT Saiba. Okay. So one question is, I was listening to some other class, and they're talking about the 30 siparas are with the world, and 10 are with us, which means the Imam. So what does that mean? And then, and the second thing is that yesterday somebody asked the question, which I have also heard on the lectures. And if you can elaborate on that, that's regarding like when you die and if your soul doesn't go do nafila, then it goes into a soul that is a little bit higher than you. So if you can, talk about those two things a little bit more.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah has very clearly said in his Farman that there are 30 siparas, there are 30 sections of Quran, but then 10 are with us. So during the time of our Khalifa, after Prophet Muhammad, Maula Ali, when the Hazrat Umar was compiling Quran, Maula Ali went with the surahs which he had with himself, and when he went to Umar saying that I have this 10 sipara and here is my copy, take it. And he said, we don't want your copy, we have what we have is enough. And Maula Ali said that you will never come to know about these chapters. But in reality, I have seen 2 chapters. Those manuscripts are still there with people. It's hidden. It's there. Irani Ismailis do have it. But Imam Sultan Muhammad in his Farman, he has said that it does not matter that the 30 sipara which we have, the 30 sections of Quran which we have, they cannot hide the evidence of Imam being in this world, the praises of Imam in this world. Because what they were trying to do, whatever section Maula Ali had, it was all about Maula Ali actually, which Prophet Muhammad had said and others had heard it too. But there was so much jealousy for Maula Ali that they were not keeping the record of what were directly about Maula Ali. For example, we have heard about third part in our dua, Ya Ayyuha Rasulu Balligh Ma Unzila Min Rabbik. It was truly about Maula Ali, that please announce about his imamat. If you do not do that, you have not completed your mission. So all the work Prophet Muhammad had done was not accounted for if he had not announced the imamat of Maula Ali. So Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah told us that they cannot hide Imam even if they have only 30 sections of Quran. And those of you who have been attending these classes and you are hearing how beautifully Tawil, each verse in Quran actually talks about Imam. So those who did not accept the 10 Sipara and they just look at the 30s because evidently they don't see the Imam in it, but they are only looking at the Tanzil. They are very far away from Tawil. And it is the Tawil, the essence which matters. And Tawil is with the Jamaat because Imam is with us. So it does not matter. So the essence of the 10 Siparas is with us in the form of living guide who guides us how to get Tawil from those 30 sections of Quran. Shamim, do you understand or do you have any follow-up question from this one?
No, I understand. I was just making sure, like, that's what I had heard, but a little bit more. You elaborated it a little bit more, so that's good. Thank you. I mean, I do. I mean, I don't know even if it is a necessary question, but when it says like 30 parts and then 10, so how are the parts? Like how is the Quran divided into 30 parts?
Yes. So if you were to look into Quran, the chapters in Quran are not in sequence of revelation. What they have done in 30 chapters, my Quran is here. If you were to look at your tags, because I know you do have tags. Yeah. So at the end, if you were to see, the tags are very close. Let me mute you. So
I'll.
Okay. So at the end of Quran, if you have tagged your Quran, you will see the chapters are very small. The tags are very close to each other. But in the beginning, the tags are very far away. Like for example, chapter 2 is a huge chapter. Chapter 3 is big chapter. So all in the beginning, there are big chapters. At the end, there are small chapters. So what they did, because they wanted to read the Quran in the month of Ramadan and divide it equally for every day. So in the beginning, they have kept all the bigger surahs, bigger chapters, and at the end, it's very small. So on last few days, they are reading, a few chapters per day. But the intention of these 30 sections or 30 parts is to divide Quran equally into 30 parts so it can be read on daily basis for 30 days in the month of Ramadan. All right, Shamim?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
And the other question I think is a little bit more.
Yeah, that requires a whole class actually. And I do know yesterday the friend whoever wrote that question, they really wrote everything in detail. And to briefly answer, because you have asked it, yes, it is true. How do you understand that? We will have to learn the concept of paradise and hell. And second concept is hudud-e-deen. So inshallah, we will continue to talk about it. See, the thing is that when we are listening to higher level of knowledge, what happens, we get stuck because we cannot digest it. It's difficult because you know something, but it doesn't make sense to you. Now, how do I help you to make sense of it? What was said yesterday, it is true because that person had heard it. And I do know whatever they heard is true. What can I add to make it easier for you to be able to digest it? Actually, the digestion of the true knowledge depends on listeners. How can you accept what you hear? Because those things one has never heard. So what do? And that is why I prefer to take a slow approach, doing Zikr ibadat and learning the knowledge step by step so we do not get into indigestion. If we get to hear secrets early on, either we don't value it or we don't understand it. So it is good that you have realized it, but it has to be made easy and it has to be on time where your inner self is ready to accept it. Right now, it doesn't make sense because it defies what you have learned all your life. How can it be true, what you've heard? So do you realize my limitation? That's why I hesitate. I'm very careful to go on the journey of knowledge step by step. And that is the reason actually that I've picked up, book club, book study, because what I saw by discussing what is soul, in the beginning, friends were so quiet. I do not know if I'm speaking different language or what am I doing that nobody speaks up. But slowly I saw the change, like literally we did 65, 70 question and then I'm seeing the change. And I realized that it was so new, the knowledge which we were learning was so new that didn't make sense. So inshallah, from next week, we are going to start the study of another book. And when we go step by step, learning the basic concepts and higher level concepts, with opening the Quran, understanding verses, it will help us understand the concepts which are at a higher level. It will take time. But to answer you briefly, what you have heard, it's not wrong, it is right. The part which does not make sense is how. And how happens step by step on the journey of true knowledge.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I knew it's true, but that's the rest of it is where, like, where does, whose soul does it go into? Is it, so yeah. Anyway, so I'll just wait more
Yes.
for it.
So
Inshallah, I'll be able to, get that knowledge soon.
You will.
Thank you.
Those who do not stop, learning, they will get it. Imam is so merciful. Imam says that all his secrets, remember, he's a divine treasure and that treasure is ours. We are his children. And parents, whatever they have, who they keep it for? Their own children. But the children have to be at that level, they have to show their worth. When they're worthy, all the treasure of the parent is of children. And we are children of Maula Bapa, and his secrets are for us. But we have to be at that level to really understand it and then be grateful. If, the way Imam Sultan Ahmad Shah says that when a child plays with the pieces of glass, you play with the gems because you don't know the difference. Something Mullah compares with glass pieces with gems, almas or ruby दो, उसका फर्क नहीं कर सकेंगे. So the reason we don't have that eye to be able to differentiate. So with time, we will develop that eye that we'll be able to value it. Because if we early on give anybody a gem, they might look at it as a colorful stone and throw it away. But the gem had to be kept very preciously. It's a precious stone. It has to be taken care of. It is very valuable. Therefore, the secrets of Imam has to be revealed at the time where we can absorb it, understand it. Otherwise, we will be at fault of being ungrateful. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah. So the intention is that we never be ungrateful of Imam's secrets, and when it is given to us, we accept it, we take it, and we value it too, inshallah.
I have more questions, but I mean, I'll wait for other people. Let them. If there is no one else, then I can ask.
Okay, nobody's asking. Anybody
Oh.
else?
No, not a question, but my battery is dying, so I will be cut off. So I just want to say Shukr, Alhamdulillah, Shukr, Alhamdulillah. I'm so glad that I'm able to join from the hospital, even wherever I am. I'm leaving, going home, but Mola badi seva kabul kare. સેવાનો બદલો બંને જાનમાં આપે, વધારે સેવા કરવા હિંમત શક્તિ પ્રેરણા બક્ષે, અમને બી હકીકતી સમજ આપે કે અમે કંઈક શીખીએ. Thank you very much. I'm so happy that I am able to learn something. Shukr, alhamdulillah, Allah beli. Shukr.
Gee, anybody has any other question? Thank you, Ma. Thank you so much. Gee, Shamim, today is your day, it sounds like.
So, like, we believe in cycles, right? Is it correct that each cycle is 50,000 years?
So the smallest cycle is, our lifetime, 100 years, okay? Then 1,000 years, one natik, then 7,000, the complete circle, then 7 after 7 after 7, 7 times 7 is 49, and then there's 50,000, and then it keeps going up and up.
So that's what I'm asking. So then, so then another cycle starts. And I know we don't believe in reincarnation, but if there is another cycle starting, does that mean then that, like, I don't know if I don't believe this, that the same rule will come again, but then what happens? Like, I mean, because somebody's also asked, like someone was asking me also that we talk about karma. So then how does all that work?
So we as a Smiley, we believe karma is all in this world. Jaisi karni aisi bharni. What you reap, what you sow, you reap. In this physical world, in this lifetime. And in cycle, there are books actually, but they are very difficult books to read. So cycles are related to the concept of resurrection, which is a very difficult concept. Again, this is a higher level of learning. If I'm able to put it simply, in every cycle, and at the end of every cycle, there is folding going on. Allah's two names are Al-Qabis and Al-Basit. To fold and to enfold. So after every cycle, he folds it all. And then there's a new cycle. And Allah has treasures of souls. He does not recycle or bring those souls back. No. Which souls will come in the world? It depends on the cycle. Depending on the cycle, the souls are chosen. So there is no reincarnation. However, Quran does mention that there are some particular souls which are very, very high ranking souls, like Imam soul, does come back in the world. But when we think of reincarnation, we are in a big problem because there is no reincarnation is based on punishment, and we don't believe in that. Rebirth, the concept of rebirth in Quran is only at a very, very high level in the ranks of Hudud-e-Din. For a Mu'min and Salik, it is in this physical world with the free will, what he or she can do, that's the most important thing. But when they leave this physical body, there is no free will. But then it takes 50,000 years. And that 50,000 years, there are different destinations depending on where they had ended their journey. They continue to move further, but the speed is very slow. It takes 50,000 years. How and why? When our peers have taught us, right? Saans usas se samaran kar le. And then Mola says that ek ka savala. When we do something in this physical world, the reward is multiplied times. When we have left this physical body, after that, the reward is 1 equals to 1. So it takes much, much longer in terms of time to get to the destination. And the way just we read the Farman, Mola said that we read in the slide that when a moment enters into paradise, it is with healthy soul and intellect. So a Mu'min and Salik who did not complete the learning or the ibadat and did not reach during their lifetime and they die, they do elevate now, but it is very slow progress. It takes up to 50,000 years. So if they were, let's say, in grade 2, now they've left the physical body, they will get into grade 2 level because that's what they have to learn. And when that body finishes the grade 2 and dies, now they were at the level 3. So all these souls which do not have any body anymore, they all go to grade 3. And then that's how they continue to go further and further and further until they are at the destination. So I hope, Shamim, you are getting me.
Yeah, I am getting it, but I guess there's a lot more to learn.
Yes, that is
Which
why
is good. Which is good to look forward to.
So I have a question.
Ji.
My name is Taj. Okay,
Yes.
so I have read somewhere that, suppose I die tomorrow and I'm suppose at the 3rd level or whatever. After a few years, if I would want to come back to have, like, does God give He gives the option to come back in this life just to progress,
So once we have left our body, our free will is gone.
Right.
So what you are saying that do I have choice to come back?
Choice means you can request or there's an option or whatever.
Yes. So let me finish, then you'll understand me. When you say choice or request or having this ability to ask to be sent back, that is given to those who are very elevated souls, meaning that they were one with the Imam during their lifetime. Only they are the ones who can request Mawla. If we have not completed our journey during the lifetime, meaning that we are really, really at the bottom levels, 1, 2, 3 grade, 4 grade is not anywhere higher. So at that time, we are in a very great regret because we lost this Manka Janam. We were given the knowledge, Dawat, to do what we needed to do, but we did not do it. So right now, the focus would be to continue to do what we need to do, even after our death. The difference is of reward. In physical body, eka savala. After that, it is 1:1. So it takes longer. And it can take up to 50,000 years.
No, because there was book Marfat Nafur. I don't know if you've read it or not. In that I had read that,
those who request, those are very high-ranking souls. Those who come back with their own free will and desire, they're high-ranking souls. Yes, they do come back. I don't deny that. There is rebirth, but at a very higher level. So I hope you remember that point. So those who say, Mola, send me back, because my Mola, you are in this physical world, in physical Jama, I want to be with you. And Mawla will say, sure, come, because you are my wali. Wali is the one who is friend of Mawla. And we are slaves of Mawla. Mawla is our master. So there is journey from slave. Mawla has said in his Farman that Momin ni arzu hamesha azadi nahi hoye chhe, right? That Momin always wants to get the freedom.
Right.
Right? So until we don't get to that freedom during the lifetime, we are not mukhtar. We are not in authority position to request or ask anything. We are in a position of, unfortunately, regret. So it's
Okay.
possible if one were to work that hard, do that much riyazat, surely they can elevate themselves. And we do have examples. Salman Farsi is one example, who were not even Muslim, not even Ismaili, but he reached Prophet Muhammad and he worked so hard and he really elevated himself, became Ahle Bayt. A person like him, he wants to come back. I'm sure Mawla will fulfill his request.
So what about the thing, like, suppose we are lucky to be Ismailis, right? But everybody don't have that choice. So how did it happen that way, that we get to be Ismailis, but other people don't have any shanakat of the Imam?
So Imam Sultan Ahmad Shah says that Ame tamone mohabbat thi satpan din ma janam aapyo che. So what do you think mohabbat? Mawla had mohabbat on us, meaning what? When we were there, who were we? And why would we be beloved to Mawla at that time? Something to think about. And
Right.
then when we came to this world, did we stay the same or we forgot everything and became very worldly? Because remember, as soon as we come in this physical world, our memories are gone. And the recalling only happens, the remembrance, recalling only happens through remembrance. Remembrance, a moment stays in remembrance, the one who realized the importance of remembrance. That's why we are remembering. Remember meaning that we've forgotten, we are recalling. So those who are Mu'min and Salih goes through Riyazat, meaning they are doing Zikr in abundance, true knowledge. They are the only ones who will be able to find out, realize where they had started their journey. So yes, when we were there, Mawla had muhabbat on us because we were probably at a higher level. But how many of us will go back to that higher level? We just discussed yesterday, I do not know if you were there, that this cycle of density to physical,
Yeah, I was there, yeah.
You were there. So it's constantly going on, right? And I've mentioned the example of Adam and his companion. That when they came down, they were in subtle body, but they became in dense body. But then they went back. Because Adam was so elevated and his companions were so elevated, they all went back in subtle body to higher level. But then when they came down, again, they were in dense body. Of course, we are talking about different cycle. Adam is not the name, it's the rank. So depending on the time of this cycle, souls are chosen and sent down. But those who go through the process of Mutu Kabla Antu Mutu get to realize, remember, recall, recognize the Imam, are able to know their own marifat. Remember, there is such a wisdom which we don't realize. Man arfa nafsahi faqad arfa rabbihi. The one who recognizes himself or herself will recognize the Lord. It is actually the recognition of our own soul that will recognize the Mawla. We will realize where our soul was, and that's how we were able to come down.
Yeah,
so when we are
interesting.
down, we remember, we recall, we realize, then exactly we know what had happened. So all this hard work of doing Zikr every week and doing these classes, it's only with one intention, that, this is trailer, this is very small bits and pieces. How much can you sit and how much can I teach? Hour, 2 hours at max, that's it. But then the 2 hours have to be multiplied into 10, 20. That is your riyazat. When you do that riyazat, you see the fruits, because in this world, the banking, the accounting is very strange. Ek ka sawala, ek ka sawala. So Momin is working very hard to deposit in the saving account. Let me get as much as I can, because right now I can earn multiplied times. And then, remember yesterday I also mentioned that Farman, that अपनी दौलत, जैसे एक इंसान अपनी दौलत की हिफाजत करता है, इसी तरह मोमिन अपने ईमान की हिफाजत करता है. A human who takes care of his belongings, earnings, money, momin is the one who protects his iman. So it should not be that we put something in saving account and then we are thinking bad about somebody, judging or whatever, gossiping. All the bank accounts are emptied up.
Okay, thank you.
No, so I mean, I'm thinking about that because of what even Taj Bibi said. So first, I mean, see like how some people, I mean, some souls come as animals, and some souls come as human beings. And then in human beings, some come as Jews, some come as Christians, or at least they're born in those families. And then I don't know whether we should be saying that lucky ones like us are born into an Ismaili family. So how, one question is, how is that selected? Like who comes as what? And then if it is true that Ismailis are lucky to be born Ismailis, so then does that mean that we, in our, I don't know, we were elevated souls? And that's why then, like, you know, that Imam or that, you know, God had mercy, God loved us, sent us, you know, sent us down again as Ismailis. I mean, I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to come at.
I understand, Shamim, and I feel that I have answered. Now you need to reflect on what I have already said. So you know what is happening, right? You are here listening to me, you're understanding it, but it's difficult to digest because there are delicacies. And those delicacies can only, it's like, you know, having a knot in the rope. And how do you open each knot for you to have the very straight, smooth rope? That feeling, that satisfaction will only come in time with Zikr Ibadat and continue to walk in true knowledge. When you ask this question, I have literally answered the question already. Answers cannot be given that clear, ready-made. It is difficult. It cannot be done like that. All right. So I'll take your leave, friends. Thank you so much for giving your time.
Thank you. Thank you. Allah bless you.
Yali Madad, Yali Madad.
Yali Madad.
Yali Madad, Yasma, Yali Madad.
Yali Madad, NIAMAT ji.
Yali Madad.
Very nice, very nice. Really enjoying it.
Shukran, Mawla. Thank you, Ma. Thank you.